Well, welcome back to the Right Brain Podcast. I am your host, Pvsimson, and with me today I have an old friend of mine who I met a long time ago in a really funny story. His name is Murilo Ribeiro. Murilo, welcome. How you doing?
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm doing okay. What about you?
I'm nervous as hell, but we're gonna get through this together.
Same.
Um, so to get some background for the people, we met in a city in the state of Rio de Janeiro called Paraty, and you were there on
Yes.
vacation with your friends, right? And that's an annual trip that
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah. In New Year's Eve.
Yeah, and do you still go on that trip now? Because that
Yeah.
was like 5 years ago, if I remember right.
Yeah. Something like that. But yeah, we basically went every year. I think there was only 1 year that we didn't go there.
Damn, even like through COVID times, you guys still
Oh
plan,
no,
or
yeah.
do you guys
Like
still go?
this year is completely different. Yeah, we're not going this year, but
Yeah,
not because we don't want to, but because we can't.
yeah, it's rough down there and up here too.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, where are you at right now? You're in São Paulo, or
Yeah. São
yeah,
Paulo, living here
that's awesome. And
ever since 2015. Yeah.
oh wow, that's hype. Are you in the city, or are you more like on the outside?
Yeah, I think I'd say I'm in the city because I don't think there's much outside here.
Yeah, that's true. And so you're an incredibly talented illustrator
Why, thank you.
and graphic designer now that I just found out. Um, how did you start getting into that medium? How did you start like drawing and
Mm,
designing and graphically?
I've always been into illustrating, actually. Like ever since I was a kid, I've always liked doing that. I mean, I had cousins and they were all like playing soccer or whatever, and I wasn't interested in it. So I was just drawing, and I always took interest in clothing and other stuff. So like anime or even animations. So I always liked to draw it because it made me feel good.
And so you said you get your most of your inspiration from, would you say you get most of your inspiration from animes and cartoons and things like that?
It's difficult to say it's most of it, but a lot of it comes from it, like certainly. But I like to take inspiration everywhere, actually. Like even from pictures. Like I remember in around 2012 or something that I was very into Tumblr, and
Aren't we
it
all?
was like very huge. Yeah, of course. And yeah, it was very huge, and there was lots of pictures and videos and gifs or gifs that
I see
that
both. It doesn't
I
really
had
matter.
around there. And I always took inspiration in it. So everywhere, I'd say.
That's hype. And what would you say is like your favorite style to draw? Like, is there one like sort of, I don't know, like way that you like drawing more than others, or
Yeah, I think my art fits better in a certain like more cartoonish way, like rounder, like a little cuter and pastel colors and stuff like that. I've always been more into that, but I think my art reflects that. But it's not the only kind of art that I like. I enjoy lots of different arts. I just cannot like do it all. So I feel like those cartoonish, like rounder object seems more attractive to me, and I've always been more into that, so I always do that in my art as well.
that's awesome. And when you when you draw and stuff, who do you look towards like for inspiration and and to like where do you get most of your ideas? You'd say like where you're more like your techniques or methods when you're drawing.
Yeah, I think that depends. I feel like I said, I draw inspiration from lots of places. So there are moments in time where like I am obsessed with this certain YouTube artist, for example. So I see my art like kind of reflecting it in some way. Not like that, not that I copy them. It's just that I see some things, like some details that they do, and I think they are nice, and I kind of appropriate in my art. So there are moments that I get inspirations from specific like people, but in general, I think like Cartoon Network has been bringing some awesome cartoons in this style that I'm just saying, like Gravity Falls or Steven Universe, like cartoons like that that have this rounder pastel colors that I'm talking about, and I relate a lot to that. So Rebecca Sugar is a huge inspiration to me because of that, because she's the creator of Steven Universe.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And yeah, I feel like she's a great person to say, but she's not like my main inspiration because I don't think I have one person for that. But she's someone who just popped in my head.
I'm gonna be honest, I haven't seen a single episode of Steven Universe. I'm missing out, I
It's
guess.
so cute. I love
Yeah,
it.
it looks
But
pretty
I
good. It's like
think I
kind of like
know.
a the Amazing World of Gumball kind of like style where everything's
Yeah,
rounder,
I
except
haven't
Gumball is
watched
kind of weird
Gumball.
because it's like
Never
live
seen
actiony stuff with like cartoons.
it.
It's really interesting. Um, so speaking of that, what would you say are your favorite cartoons? You mentioned Gravity Falls, you mentioned Steven Universe. Are there any others
Yeah,
that you'd say you
even
watch
though
a
I
lot?
mentioned those, I mean I draw inspirations from them because of the way they are drawn or colored. But in general, I think my favorite cartoon of all time is Avatar: The Last Airbender, because why wouldn't it be? It's the
Yeah.
greatest history of all time,
Yeah, the
and
writing for
it's
that show
amazing.
and just the art style is
Yeah,
fantastic. Since it came out on
everything is
Netflix, I hadn't
fantastic.
seen it since it was on Cartoon Network, like aired live, but and then it came out on Netflix and I just rewatched the whole thing and I just fell in love with it all over again because
It's
I
amazing.
didn't realize how good it was just based off of like watching it recently. And then I just remembered I was like, yeah, I used to watch this shit all the time as a kid.
Yeah, I was obsessed with it. And it's funny because I know that in the US, in the Netflix US, the Avatar was released like this year, right? But
Yeah,
in Netflix Brazil, it's been there for a couple of years now. So
that's
I got to
insane.
watch it in 2017, I guess, rewatch it. And ever since then, I've rewatched it like basically every year. And I'm reading the comics right now. It's amazing.
Oh, there's like comic books? I didn't know that. There's like manga?
You didn't
I
know
didn't
that? Yeah,
No, I
there
did not
are.
know that.
There
I'm
are
so out of the loop
original.
with like anime and things like that.
No, but honestly, there are original stories that happen after the actual series, and there are
Oh,
some like on non-original but released as original, like made by other artists
yeah.
that are in the same realm, and it's amazing. You should check it out.
No, I will. Yeah, that's awesome. Damn. And so how do you feel about Legend of Korra now?
I love it. I've always loved it.
Yeah?
I get
Okay.
that a lot of people don't like it, and I kind of see the point. Like there are some things that I don't like about it, but overall, I think it's pretty great. I think I can separate it better than other people do. I feel like other people expect it to be just like Avatar, and I like that it's different.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at because I'm afraid to watch it because I love Avatar: The Last
Oh,
Airbender
you
so
haven't
much,
seen?
and I haven't seen a single episode. And now that it's on Netflix too, I have to check it out now. But yeah, I'm just afraid to watch it because I'm afraid I won't like it, and then if I don't like that, I might not like Avatar: The Last Airbender as much. I don't know. I'm weird about it, but
I get it. I guess I get it, but I mean, I should tell you that she is the opposite of Aang. Literally, she is the opposite of Aang.
oh, then I
So
might like
if
her
you
because
if
honestly,
you
Aang was a
watch
little
it,
annoying.
yeah, I think Korra can be a little annoying too. But uh, if you watch Avatar and if you love Avatar because of its like lore and magic and the whole like spiritual thing, you'll probably won't appreciate Korra as much because they don't focus on that at all. So it's not the same thing because the story is completely different. But I think they're both great stories. There are a lot of how can I say it? A lot of decisions that were made in Korra that really affects the story in general that people don't actually normally like them. But I don't. I think they're fine.
Yeah, that's good. And what would you say is your damn, I say and in between every single question, huh? What's your favorite element? Like what would you say you identify more with based on the show?
Water.
Oh, you got the water tribe on there. All right.
Yeah.
Northern water tribe or southern water tribe?
Oh well, it's a difficult question because I think the Water Tribe in general they have some conservative, sexist manners that I don't necessarily agree with.
Yeah, that's true.
But
That whole
I've always loved Katara more than everything. I feel like she's the greatest character, and I had this tattoo more because of her than because of her tribe in general. But I've always loved her drive and passion and the way she was taught. I mean,
she went
that
against the grain and
kind
she
of
was like,
reflected
"Hey,
that.
stop that sexist shit."
Yeah,
It was
she's
awesome. When I saw
amazing.
that in the show, I was like, "Damn, I did not pick up on that as a kid."
Yeah, there are a lot of things I did not pick up as a kid.
Yeah. Um. So, what is your favorite color?
Well,
I like
thinking
to
about
ask
it,
all visual artists this, just to
yeah,
see what they say.
think I'm going. That's a difficult question. I think my answer would be pink because I think pink is can be pretty in everything, like literally everything. I don't think there's something in pink that I wouldn't think that can be like cute or whatever. But I love all colors. I can choose. I feel like they can be special in whatever thing you put them, you know. But I think pink is a better color because it fits most things.
That's true. I'll agree with that. Um. So, how long have you been drawing? You mentioned like since you were a kid, but like when was the first
Yeah.
like how old were you when you made like your first like I guess complete
Mm,
maybe drawing?
don't know how to answer that. I feel like I've always been drawing, you know. I can't pinpoint the exact moment where I just had a finished piece, you know.
Were you like that kid in
But
school who was like doodling always like in the side in
yeah.
the margins of the notebook?
Yeah.
Type. When you look back on like your previous or earlier pieces of art, how does that make you feel? Like, do you get nostalgic, or do you like look, or do you get really critical? Like, how do you feel when you go back and look at your previous works?
I think it depends. I normally I like it. I feel like I can feel a little bit better about myself, like, oh, I've improved on that or I've improved on that. But it can be frustrating when I see some mistakes that I've done in the past that I keep making, and they are a little frustrating to like acknowledge in general, you know, like being, oh, I cannot get like how to draw feet or hands, you know, like I'm a little bit better now, especially at hands, but it's difficult and it's kind of frustrating when you see yourself committing the same mistakes. But overall, I think it's pretty nostalgic and cute, you know, like I can see a drawing that I did a few years ago and remember the time, like the place, what I was doing, why I did that. And that's always nice to
Oh, yeah, that's
reflect
true.
on.
I never thought about the like the settings or like the memories that it could bring back. Because I feel
Yeah.
like that happens a lot, especially with like visual aspects of our lives, or even like smells too. Or, but I feel like smells and visuals are what invokes the most memories and recall in our mind. Um, so out of your works, do you have any favorites, or do you like them all? Like, how do you feel about that?
Oh, that's a difficult question. I like it in a moment, but and then if I keep staring at it, I keep, you know, finding all the mistakes and details that I could like work different. So it's difficult because I deal with a lot of self doubt, you know. So I'm always thinking and rethinking and rethinking and rethinking, like what should I do to improve this? And it's bittersweet. Like I know that I can get better by like practicing and really noticing my mistakes, but at the same time, I feel like I hold myself down a little bit, you know, because I just like I thought when I see a mistake that I'm making like for a few years and I don't get better at it and I get frustrated, I instead of thinking like, oh, that's nice, I know I'm acknowledging this mistake and I'm trying to get better. But sometimes I just get down and I'm like, no, I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to be good enough, you know, like all that jazz. So it can be both, it can come both ways. But normally I feel like there are some things that I do that I appreciate. Like when I started drawing and I'm like, I just want to do this little thing. And then I get excited about it and I like start like bringing more and more in. At some point I like it and I feel like it's done and I'm not touching anymore, so I'm going to running. So there are a few pieces that I'm thinking of that I like still that I'm not like hating on after looking at it for a long time, but there are fewer than like the ones that I obsess over and start hating eventually.
Yeah, that's I can relate a lot to that when I try to produce music. There's a certain point where I'm like, all right, if I keep messing with this sound, it's gonna not turn out. It's gonna be too far in the direction of not good to where it's
Yeah.
gonna be too manipulated, and I can't like bring it back to how it was or maintain the organic natures that I like from it. Um, so when you start a piece, what like when you have that inspiration, you have that idea, I guess, in your mind, is it do you see the whole picture or do you just like how you said you see a little aspect of it and then it just blossoms into everything else? Or how does that work for you? Is that all the time or
Yeah, I think it's sometimes when I'm drawing something that I'm directed to, like if I'm commissioned something when I know what I have to do before I start doing it, it's different. Like I search for inspirations like on Pinterest or whatever, like similar pictures that I can like understand better what I'm trying to get. But when I'm just like drawing something because I want to, like when I'm just randomly doodling, like I can think of an example right now. Like before talking to you today, I was on Twitter and I saw someone posting like this art thread or whatever that they had just a color palette and they were just trying to make a drawing out of this color palette, and I felt like doing it. So I just like opened the Procreate app. That's where I draw, and I start thinking like, what could I do with it? And then I just like draw a circle, and then I draw a face, and then I start like building from that. You know, I don't necessarily know where I'm going when I'm doing this random drawings, but if I have a direction, I try to take it. Like if I'm being commissioned something, if it's for work, I try to be like really to the point where the person wants it, because I'm not trying to be like super artistic about it and miss the point, you know.
yeah, that's true. You don't want to miss that bag. When you draw, what method of drawing do you prefer? Do you prefer the digital like drawing, like with like the I guess you have your iPad, so do you have your Apple do you have an Apple Pencil too? How does that work?
Yeah, I've always like drawn traditional art, like with pencil and pens and whatever. But ever since I started going for digital art, I just can't go back now. It's been a long while since I've drawn in paper, actually. And yeah, it's way easier, to be completely honest. It's more fun because it's way easier. You know, you can just like throw things around, and like actually the thing that really draw me to it is because I have all mediums in like in this tablet. You know, like I can paint with oils and chalk and pencils and pens just by having the specific brush. You know, so it's way easier to really experiment and go all in with what you like. And apart from that, you can also like erase it with an eraser and just like erase in paint. You know, that's something you can't do in real life. So it's way easier and it's way nicer.
That's true, and you also probably have those redo and undo options that
Yeah, sure.
is there a certain like technique um that you wish you could bring from one medium to the other, like digital to like real life?
Yeah, I would say the redo and do button would be amazing.
Well, yeah, but like to manipulate a line in a certain way or something, or a shading, or
um, yeah, I feel like I'm not sure if I'm going to answer you the exact question you're asking me, but there's this little thing in Procreate, that the app that I use, that it makes my life so much easier. Like if I just draw a line and I hold the pencil still, it makes a perfect line. Or if I
uh,
just hold up, like make a circle and it holds still, it makes a perfect circle. So I'm so used to using that if I'm going to like draw an extra line in real life, it's probably going to be all wonky. But
yeah,
that would be amazing to bring to real life.
yeah, that's hype. I did not consider that. Yeah. So, what is your process? Would you say, like, from idea to finished product? Like, what are the steps that you go through to make that happen?
Yeah, so like I said, depending on what I'm doing with this art specifically, like if I'm going like to do a commission or a work or whatever, I normally like hear what the person says, what they want, and then I go back to what I've already done before that kind of looks like it or has the same vibe. So I start like searching for inspiration. So I go through Pinterest or Tumblr or whatever, like Google, whatever I think there it fits better, and I start building up on it. Like, oh, love those colors that I see a lot, or I love those shapes that I see a lot. So I start like bringing all of this in, and I started making like trials. Like I make a first version, and then I think, oh, I like this, but I don't like that. So I'm going to like try to do like a different version, like without this thing, and draw another thing. So I just to try something that works until it actually works.
Yeah. It's hype. And so with that, you do like outlines and then like shade over later, like
Oh
with
yeah.
like once you like
Okay.
center down an idea.
Okay, I get it. So yeah, I normally just make this rough sketch, and then I start like doing an outline first, and it's my favorite part actually. I think it's so soothing to just like go over. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
Is everything okay? Yeah, I think it's soothing and it's nice to do the outline. So I like to do that. And after the outline, I start working with colors. Like normally, before starting it, I'm already like thinking of colors. So I would try some versions, like where do I think each color fits where, and then I start coloring it. And after I start like doing shading and details, like sparkles or whatever that I think fits, because I love sparkles. So I'd always make some little sparkles in the end.
Hell yeah. Yeah, outlining is it's important too because that sets everything up.
Yeah, I feel like it's not necessary. Sometimes there are people with specific art styles that don't ever use outlines, and I think it can be very nice. But I think you have to have this specific kind of art to really like show through, or else everything else just kind of blends together.
Yeah, I think that's crazy how people can just like how they've like mastered the movements to make what's in their mind, like to manifest what's in their mind into on paper. And
Yeah.
I think that's insane how they can just go without like a crutch or like any help with like planning before. It's crazy. But yeah, I think that's all I have to ask you and to talk about for now. Maybe I'll have you on later. That'd be great. Some other time in
That'd
the
be great.
future.
Yeah, it's amazing talking to you about stuff like that. I always enjoy talking about art in general. So
Hell yeah.
it's nice having me here.
Then yeah, I'll definitely try to have you on. All right, yeah, you can find Murilo on Instagram at Murilustra. That's
Yeah.
Murilustra. And then his Twitter is Muriluch. And that is at Murilugh. And Murilo, thank you so
Ugh,
much for coming
yeah.
on. Um,
Thank you so much for having me.
Great
It's so
talking to you,
fun
catching
talking
up.
to you. Yeah, sure.
And you take care and
You too.
stay weird. Don't change, please.
Yeah, I won't. Don't worry. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.